What's going on, guys? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, tuning in to our weekly live shows, and it feels so good to be back hanging out with the real ones. So welcome in. But let's let the chat get going here. Show off your purple pride, and I'll give you a shout out down in the chat. Type those skulls. I miss game days when I'll tell you guys and all the energy, and I'll say, if you want the Vikings to beat whoever they're playing, type skull. I miss that a lot. But we got Roger Bong in the chat. Roger, I did hit you up on Twitter. Got a little extra something that's going to be sent your way. So make sure you do check your DMs over there. But Summer, welcome in. What's up, Summer? Rocky in the chat. RGB in the chat. Same with MDG and Munkus also in the chat saying skull. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. We actually do have a loaded show for you guys. A ton of juicy rumors, specifically around the Vikings possibly trading up and drafting the North Carolina quarterback, Drake Maye. So we'll kick it to this. Will the Vikings draft a quarterback in round one? Get your predictions going down in the chat. I'm probably saying, I think it's 50-50 right now. If I had to put money on it, though, I probably would say yes as of right now. And Munkus is joining me saying yes. So if you guys don't know, I kind of already get into it a little more. So Josh McCown. Josh McCown was hired as the Vikings quarterback coach yesterday. Well, Josh McCown, back in 2019, he was a high school football coach in the state of North Carolina. Guess who Josh McCown's quarterback was in high school, or for his high school team in North Carolina? It was Drake Maye. And we've heard all the reports that the Vikings may be trying to trade up for like a Jayden Daniels, a Drake Maye. Now you go hire his former high school football coach. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm starting to connect a lot of dots here, and then starting to also maybe a little wishful thinking that, Drake Maye will be on the Minnesota Vikings. But let me know, will the Vikings draft a quarterback in round one? As Munkus is saying, I hope, LOL. Yeah, I hope so too. I think no matter what, the Vikings just need to get, fresh blood in that in the quarterback position. And, obviously Drake Maye would be a great choice. But Lazar in the chat saying yes as well. Munkus is saying we need to trade up to 2 in order to get Drake Maye. So I actually agree with you. I think most likely Drake Maye goes number 2. But the Commanders love Jayden Daniels. They absolutely love Jayden Daniels. And, maybe number 3, you go out and you get you go trade up with the Patriots and they give you or maybe you have to give up, I don't know, Jefferson or something to go up to get up number 3. But maybe you give them a couple future first-round picks and you go draft Drake Maye at number 3. Keep that in mind as well. As Young Boy saying, yo, Pass, I miss you, man. I hate what's happening to the Bulls right now. Young Boy, go check out the video I just posted on our Bulls channel. I went on a pretty long rant just kind of explaining what happened last night because it's a joke, Young Boy. It's a joke. It's Daniel in the chat saying skull. Same with MDG. But also coming up, we're going to be going over 10 big-name free agents the Vikings could possibly sign. With obviously the salary cap raising by $30 million, I got 10 names that the Vikings, and big-time names as well. All these guys will be signing over $15 million per year. But let me know. Name a free agent you want the Vikings to sign without teasing it too much. As Lazar is going Saquon Barkley, I like that name as well. I didn't have any running backs in mind. Without teasing it too much, I'll give you my second name on this. Or no, I'll give you my 5th name on this list. Antoine Winfield Jr. If I had to pick one free agent, I would honestly pick Antoine Winfield. The dude's an absolute dog. Obviously, his dad played with the Vikings and was a Vikings legend, and I think his versatility would fit in really, really well with what Brian Flores likes to do. So I'll go Antoine Winfield as my one free agent. As Joshua Williams, a name I have on my list as well, saying Leonard Williams. That's all I want to beef up the middle. Dude's a good run stopper. Yeah, Josh, when I get into my 10 names, I think 5 of them are defensive tackles because the Vikings need to get tougher. Like, let's just call it as it is right now. Under Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings have been a soft football team, like a soft football team, and I want to get a little more. I want to get a little tougher in the trenches. But Winfield won't be available. But I got him on Matt. Yeah, most likely going to get franchise tagged by the Buccaneers. But I don't know. Maybe it's my wishful thinking a little bit. But I would love to see Antoine Winfield to get a dust off the 26 jerseys as well. I would absolutely love it. Yeah, only Fanatics. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, also coming up on today's show. So we do have a super chat menu for today. If you guys want to have a little fun, we don't really get to, speaking about a super chat, that's another raffle entry for my man Roger Bong. Shout out to you coming in with a $10 super chat. Everybody type in those Skull Rogers down below. He says, will you put me on the ball for this $10? That is very cool of you all. 100% Roger. I don't know if your name was on the ball or not. Yeah, give him a fourth one. Yeah, Roger, I'll go check the one I'm sending out to you. Yeah, sorry for the mishap and everything, but really do appreciate it, man. Everybody type the Skull Rogers. Show Roger Bong some love down in the chat. But yeah, you will you'll be getting that jersey and that ball sent to you very, very soon. The shipping department sent it back to us, so now we gotta send it back out. But appreciate you guys showing Roger Bong some love. But the fun stuff we do have coming up on today's show. So every $10. You will get a raffle entry into our Hall of Fame board. We're going to sign your name, and then at the end of today's show, we're going to spin the wheel, and this is going to go to one of you guys down in the chat. So $10 in this will be sent to your doorstep. We'll send it. We already have Adam Schmidt on here, Roger Bong. Summer, you actually have a ticket entry because of my man Roger. Then same with Ty Man, the Buckeye. So yeah, and also we'll do that at the end of today's show. But my deal of the day is a boot. If we get to $200 total, I'll get a little wild on our live show, and I'll do a boot at the end of today's show, as Skolger saying, Skull Rogers as well. But also, guys, we're going to have a mailbag in about 30 to 40 minutes or so. So if you guys do want to get your questions on there, you guys could super chat like Roger Bong did. You guys will skip the line, or you guys can use hashtag Vikings. Hashtag Vikings. Lazar, I'm calling you out. I want a question from you, my friend. Same with you, Munkus. Roger, you too. Get a question in there. Hashtag Vikings. Let your thoughts be known down below in the chat. And, yeah, you guys will get featured on our mailbags. Pretty cool stuff. I do want to bring this to you guys' attention, though. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. Kirk Cousins, our quarterback, decided to get grilled. And he posted this on Instagram. If you guys see that comment right there, it's actually from Justin Jefferson, as he said, next we got to get him some diamond ones. And I thought this was absolutely hilarious. Kirk, with the most ultimate dad swag, I guess I want to call it. Like, when I saw this get popped up on my page, I was dying laughing. And it's just cool stuff from Kirk. I don't know if he's playing into this kind of like, I'm the nerdy dad type of like persona a little too much. But the thing is with Kirk, I know he's being himself all the time. And I think this is just another prime example. But the grills, I kind of agree with Jefferson. You got to get some diamond ones on there because it just looks like he's got yellow teeth right now. I mean, Texas producing the show, he was saying the same thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with Jefferson there. Get some freaking diamonds on those grills, Kirk. But I thought this was pretty funny and wanted to, obviously show you guys. But coming up, this is a rundown of today's show. So we got juicy rumors around the quarterback position after Josh McCown was hired. And also, NFL Scouting Combine is today. Is this week. So there are a ton of rumors coming out that the Vikings may be trading up in the NFL draft. Bulls Nation, that's a great question, by the way. We'll get to that on Mailbag. But also, tons of rumors coming out. So obviously our first segment is really juicy, and I'm really excited to dive into it. Then I got big name free agent targets for the Vikes. Then also, obviously, that mailbag. And if you guys are ready, we got 37 people watching, only 7 likes. If you guys could help me out, drop a like on today's video. I would really, really appreciate it. But then we got a $20 super chat coming in from my man Skolger, a legend from the watch parties during the season. Everybody show Skolger some love. Skolgers. That was my favorite thing to say during the year during the watch parties was everybody type those Skolgers down below. Really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. But coming up on today's show, we are QB rumors, big name free agent targets, a mailbag. Use hashtag Vikings to get involved in on that. And then if you guys are ready, drop a like on today's video. Up to 11 likes. I'm not starting until we get 12. Only one more like. And then Texas is going to push us across and get going here. We need one more like. 41 people watching. We got a loaded show. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about these QB rumors around the Vikings because I think it's more likely than not that they draft a quarterback in round 1. Will it be trading up into the draft, or will it be trading back up into the first round? I don't know. I got a ton of reports, ton of rumors that we need to dive into. We just hit 13 likes. If Tex, you're ready, I'm ready to rock. Let's dive into it. Rumors are swirling coming out of the NFL scouting combine that the Minnesota Vikings are looking to trade up in the NFL draft and land their quarterback. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. This is a juicy show, and I'm extremely excited to dive into it. But I want to first dive into this. This was a Twitter exchange from Benjamin Albright and Josh Schwartz, a former NFL offensive lineman. So Benjamin Albright had this to say. He said, if I had to guess today, pre-scouting combine, this is how he thinks the draft would go. The Chicago Bears draft Caleb Williams, the Commanders draft Jayden Daniels, and then the Patriots trade out of that pick. The Cardinals would then select Marvin Harrison, and then the Chargers also would trade out of that pick. And then Schwartz replied to him and said, well, who would be trading up? Benjamin Albright listed three names: the New York Giants, the Atlanta Falcons, and then also our Minnesota Vikings. So now let's kick it to this. Start connecting some dots a little bit here. Ryan Fowler, big-time NFL insider. He says sources, LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels, have formal meetings scheduled with the Giants, the Vikings, the Saints, and the Patriots this evening. Daniels will also meet formally with the Washington Commanders on Wednesday. Rumors are swirling here on the channel, and that's why I got to make sure you guys are subscribed. I was actually challenged by our Saints Now channel here at Chat Sports. We said it. First channel to get 100 subscribers wins this race. I need your guys' help. If you're new here, if the Vikings do end up trading up, we'll make a video for you guys ASAP. So hit that subscribe button. I don't want to lose to the Saints. I hate the Saints. Probably my most hated team in the NFL. Help me out here. Hit that subscribe button and lock us in. So first off, before we dive into more around Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels, Kirk Cousins posted this on his Instagram yesterday, and he tagged Justin Jefferson in it and said, got some new grills. And then Jefferson replied to him and said, well, you need to get some with some diamonds in it. And I think this is just more of an indication that Kirk Cousins wants to stay in Minnesota. And I still really do believe if that Kirk Cousins will be QB1 for the Vikings next season, it's going to have to come down to money, obviously, as we know. But if I had to pick right now, QB1 for the Vikes, it would be Kirk Cousins, because I don't think you post something like this unless you have a little bit of an indication that you may be back in Minnesota. But let's start connecting some dots even a little bit more. We heard the reports that the Vikings are looking to trade up in the draft. Well, yesterday, Adam Schefter broke this news at 3:33. The Vikings named Josh McCown as their quarterback coach, and you may just look over at that and be like, oh, who cares? Vikings got a new quarterback coach. But listen to this. McCown, a little fun fact for you guys, McCown coached at a high school in 2019 in North Carolina. Who was the quarterback on McCown's team? It was this man right here, Drake Maye. And all I got to say to that is here we go, ladies and gentlemen. If somehow the Minnesota Vikings could swoop in and trade up the number 3 in the draft and land Drake Maye, I will be throwing a party here on the channel. We will be going live, and we will be having an absolute blast because this kid is generational. I know that word kind of gets thrown out there, too often nowadays, but I really do believe it. Drake Maye is no doubt the number 2 quarterback in this class. Some could make an argument that he is number 1, but if the Vikings could somehow ever land him in this year's draft class, I would be absolutely thrilled, because also with him, numbers don't lie. Obviously, he was a little better back in 2022, but the talent around him really dropped off this past season at North Carolina. But over the 2 seasons, he was fantastic. Back in 2022, getting 38 touchdowns for 7 interceptions. This past season, 24 TDs to 9 picks. He has that dual threat ability, combining for 16 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. Always been a fairly accurate quarterback. Obviously dropped a little bit this year at 63.3%, but he's got big-time potential, and he's got a big-time arm. And I know what you may be saying. Patrick, it would take so much to trade up the number 3 overall. Whatever it takes, go get Drake Maye. That is my standpoint. Because you know what, guys? Quarterbacks move the needle in the NFL. And this kid really has generational talent in him. He's got a big-time arm. He's got the mobility. He can touch every blade of grass on a football field. And if you could somehow see, if you're telling me week 1 next year, the Vikings have Drake Maye throwing to Jordan Addison, throwing to Justin Jefferson, I mean, I don't even know what my reaction would be. I would just be excited and happy moving forward. I'm telling you guys right now, it would take a haul. It would take multiple first-round picks to move up to number 3. But guess what? If you would land Drake Maye, we're not going to be worried about the picks. That's going to be the least of our concern. And we see Maye the Jefferson, and we can already hear Paul Allen on the play-by-play screaming, "Here comes JJ," because Drake Maye is absolutely layering the football over the football field. But talking about layering the football all over the football field, this is in 2023. Big-time throw percentage from quarterbacks. In this year's class, I just took the main 6. Jayden Daniels was at 8.4. We'll get into him a little bit later. But Drake Maye was second in the entire class at 7.5% of his throws were considered a big-time throw. Michael Penix at 7.3. Caleb Williams at 6.2, McCarthy 6.0, and then Bo Nix at 4.2. And if you're wondering what a big-time throw is, this is how they define it. It is elite ball location and timing, typically thrown more down the field and or in a tight window. It's probably just, PFF actually said, it's normally throws that just make you go, oh, that's a big-time throw. Drake Maye, he was second in the entire class, only behind Jayden Daniels. Now, we've heard this comparison with Drake Maye all the time. This man right here, and I know it's kind of chalk analysis. I mean, you turn on any Vikings YouTuber, any NFL YouTuber, they will say the number one comparison for this guy is Justin Herbert. And I remember when Herbert was coming out, 6'4", big time arm. You had questions about his accuracy, question marks here and there. But I remember looking back on it when he stepped on the football field. I was thinking, I'm like, how did we miss this guy? How do we miss Justin Herbert? He's the prototypical modern-day quarterback. Drake Maye is the same way. I mean, even the way they're just standing there in the pocket, they just look similar. So I'd be all in on Drake Maye. And I'll tell you what, guys, if the Vikings do make this move to trading up to Drake Maye, I'm telling you, we will be going live on the channel. So, again, one last time, make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. Stay up to date with all the Vikings draft rumors and more. Hit that sub button and stay locked in. Now, maybe it's not Drake Maye. It could be Jayden Daniels because I showed you that the Vikings are meeting with Jayden Daniels, or maybe when you're watching this, they have already met with Jayden Daniels at the NFL Scouting Combine. And I've heard countless reports that the Vikings, they really, really like this guy. But the thing is with him, it may even take more to trade up in the NFL draft to land him. But the thing I love about Daniels the most is you can see the growth from years 1 to 2 at LSU. In year 1, 68.6% completion percentage, up that to 72.2. 2,900 yards in 14 games in 2022, bump that up to 3,800 in 2023 in 2 less games. But the thing that stands out the most here, passing touchdowns, interceptions. He upped it from 17 to 40 with only throwing 1 more interception, and the yards per attempt, obviously you can chalk this up to him having Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors on the outside at LSU, but the yards per attempt almost jumped by 4.2 yards. Obviously, we know the dual threat ability he has, and he has this elite upside. Like, I'd probably still say most upside in the draft probably still goes to, Caleb Williams and, obviously Drake Maye as well, but Daniels is right there with him. And, when I think of Jayden Daniels, obviously you've heard the Lamar Jackson comparison. I don't think he's the same athlete that Lamar is, but I honestly think coming out of college, he is a way better thrower than Lamar was. Like, I think if Daniels can reach his peak as a thrower, or I just think it's a whole lot higher than Lamar's peak as a thrower, even though Lamar would be the superior athlete. But I do think with a guy like Daniels, I think it matters where he goes 100%. If he goes to Washington, I could see him being a bust. If he goes to Tennessee at 7, but if he would ever land in Minnesota and get in the support system the Vikings could offer him, they would take Jayden Daniels' game and it would soar through the roof. Because if I'm a young quarterback and I'm looking at possible places I could land, and you're telling me I might be able to go to Minnesota and play with the best wide receiver in the NFL in Justin Jefferson, play with Jordan Addison heading into year 2. And also the thing is with Addison and Jefferson, they are just getting better. Like, Jefferson has gotten better every single year in the NFL. I can't even imagine what he's going to look like next season. You also got 2 elite tackles in Darisaw and Brian O'Neill. Obviously, TJ Hockenson is coming off that season-ending knee surgery, but he should be back by at least Thanksgiving. Then also, you got Kevin O'Connell, young offensive head coach, can really groom a young quarterback. So Vikings can offer a great support system for Daniels. And also what I love about Daniels, too, he was elite in the red zone this past season. And this doesn't even show the dual threat ability. This only shows the passing stats for Daniels in the red zone. 65% completion percentage, 14 touchdowns, two no interceptions for him. Bo Nix was the best at the top of that list at pretty impressive 69% completion percentage in the red zone and 18 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. But I want to show you guys a stat, pretty interesting because I do think red zone efficiency is obviously huge in the league. And, Daniels, he's pretty freaking good. But if you guys had to choose one, we've heard the reports, Jayden Daniels, Drake Maye, the Vikings want to trade up in the draft. If you guys had to pick one quarterback between these two, let me know who it is. DM for Drake Maye, JD for Jayden Daniels. Let your thoughts be known down in the comments section. As always, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. We are upping our game here at Vikings Now by Chat Sports. So hop on the bandwagon and lock us in. And as always, go Vikes. I just said go Vikes and not Skull Vikes. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? But let's see what you guys are saying down in the chat. Jake Anderson, what's up? How you doing? Munkus is saying, I couldn't choose. LOL. Well, you got it. You got it, Munkus. You got to choose for me down in the chat. If I had to pick one, I'm still going, I like Daniels too. I just think exactly. We have seen Lamar Jackson this past year. He had an MVP season. Great roster around him. He's kind of at his peak. Still wasn't enough to get over the hump. I'd probably roll my chances with Drake Maye. But it's obviously, it's a toss-up. And I'll tell you what, Vikings get either of those guys, we are throwing a party here on the channel. I would be absolutely thrilled. But I am posting a ton of draft content on my Twitter. At Pat Siebes is the handle. I just put that link for you guys in the chat. I have clips and interviews from all these guys at the NFL Scouting Combine and if they're meeting with the Vikings or not. So hit me up on Twitter if you guys do want to get just more about your Minnesota Vikings on your Twitter feed. And also, this is the Super Chat menu for today. We are going to be doing our raffle at the end of the show. If you guys want to get involved, a $10 Super Chat is the best way to do so. You'll get a ticket entry, get your name on the board, and we'll ship this out to whoever needs it or whoever ends up winning. Also, I said if we get the $200 total today, I will be knocking down a boot, and we are 170 away. Jake Anderson says, chances we trade for number one and go for it. I don't think there's a single % chance. One, because I think the Bears are keeping Caleb Williams. And also, if the Bears are going to move off that pick, they're not sending it to Minnesota where they got to go see Williams 2 times a year. Exactly. They're not going to trade with the Vikes. So, as Joshua Williams, or Munkus is saying, I will be partying if we got one of those two regardless. 100%, man. If we could somehow get Drake Maye, Jayden Daniels, I'd be all in. Joshua Williams saying, J.J. McCarthy, the best quarterback this draft. Let's take a chance on him. He's smart. So, I actually went to high school with J.J. You are 100% right. He's a smart kid, works his ass off. And the thing I love about J.J. the most, just as a prospect, he's 21 years old. He was born in 2003. He's got a ton of time to develop. And JJ's, guys, listen to me. We got 55 people in here right now. It's not a lot. I want to make this crystal clear. When the Vikings, if they do draft JJ at 11, you're going to go on the Instagram comments. You're going to go on the Twitter replies. And you're going to see all these people saying, what a waste of a draft pick. Terrible draft pick. They're going to be shooting it down. It would be the best thing that ever happened to this franchise. I'll be all in on him. So, you can just play the intro. Yeah. Oh, heading into it? Yeah. Just pause it, and then I'll... the actual intro video? Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, definitely. Munkus is saying I would love McCarthy as well. Yeah, I would love JJ at 11. Rocky saying I'm afraid Kwesi will trade down. I hope not. I really hope not. Bulls Nation talk about Spencer Rattler. I'm a big Spencer Rattler guy. Big Spencer Rattler guy, and I know the automatic, first thing you hear about Rattler is, oh, his character concerns and all this. Guys, he was a captain on his team last year. That take is from his high school days. Update your take. He doesn't have character concerns anymore. I absolutely love Rattler. I bet you after his pro day, after the combine, I bet you he will be a second-round pick. But we will have a mailbag coming up here after this segment. We're going to be diving into some top free agent targets. Whatever you guys want to talk about, let me know. Hashtag Vikings, or you guys can super chat to get on the show. But get your questions in there. Hashtag Vikings in the chat. And I really appreciate it. I would really, really appreciate it. Just go into, just easier for you to splice. Yeah. All right, Moonkiss is saying Rattler would be a steal in the third. Oh, my God, give me Spencer Rattler in the third round. We are cooking with grease, fellas. Because then also Rattler, honestly, I might have to update my perfect Vikings offseason. If the Vikings would take Kirk Cousins, 1 to 2 year deal, 2 years, $65 million, call it there. Then get Spencer Rattler in the third round, be kind of the quarterback of the future that Kirk can groom a little bit. I would love that. Roger, great question. We'll get to that here. But coming up right now, we are going to be diving into some massive contracts the Vikings could be dishing out in free agency. Let's do it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up just around the corner, 10 massive contracts the Vikings can sign during NFL free agency. The salary cap just went up, so we're getting big here on the channel, and the Vikings making a splash move this free agency. But if you guys want the Vikes to make a splash move, show me. Drop a like on today's video. Let's blow it out of the water. Let's get over 1,000 likes on today's video. Send a message to the Vikings GM Kwesi if you want the Vikes to make a big-time move. Show me. Show the front office. Drop a like on today's show. Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. So we got 10 big-time names that the Vikings could sign coming up here in a second, but I want to set the scene first. So the NFL salary cap, if you guys did not know, it did get boosted up to $255.4 million, which is 13.6% higher than in 2023. This was the largest salary increase ever from year to year, and it got up $30.6 million. And the Vikings, as it stands right now, I've gotten a different number on a plethora of different websites, but the mean I found was Vikings should have about $36.5 million in salary cap space for this free agency period. This number also does include the Vikings bringing back Kirk on a $40 million deal and also extending Jefferson and Danielle Hunter. So this would be kind of, the Vikings bring all their guys back, this would be how much they would have left. And I know you might be saying, well, what is a massive contract, Patrick? What does that necessarily mean? So every player mentioned in this video, I fully expect that they will get a minimum of $15 million per year on their new deal. It's going to cost a lot for these guys, but this would be a big-time name that the Vikings could sign. And I think no bigger than Jalen Johnson as at number 10 right now. Jalen Johnson's an absolute stud. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He is one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League, and he played like it last season. I mean, PFF graded him out incredibly well, giving him a 90.8 overall PFF grade. In coverage, he was a 91 flat, and then also in the run defense, pretty solid as well. We know Brian Flores, he makes his cornerbacks tackle, so he was at 67.2. Quarterback rating allowed at 33.3, but he also had 10 PBUs and 4 picks, which at the cornerback position, obviously really, really impressive. Taking a look at the Vikings cornerback room, though, I've said this multiple times. I like Byron Murphy. Really solid corner. I think he's more of a quarterback, too, though, in the National Football League. Obviously, Jalen Johnson would be a true number one corner. If you could somehow have Johnson, Murphy, and then have Booth, Evans, and Mekhi Blackman kind of be the rotational pieces there, I think that would be one of the better cornerback rooms that we see. But I also fully expect the Bears to bring him back. I really, I just don't think Chicago is going to let like a true blue chip player like that leave when the Bears just need talent. Like, I think they're going to open up the bank for him. I think they're going to pay him, whatever he wants to be paid. So I would have him as my number one free agent target, but just because I think the Bears are going to bring him back, it just doesn't seem, too likely. But number 9 for me is definitely a position of need for Minnesota. It is the big-time offensive guard, Robert Hunt, from the Miami Dolphins, and he had a great year last year, man. In 547 snaps, this man only allowed one sack. One sack in 547 snaps, only one hit, only 2 penalties, and only 3 hurries, which had him graded out at a 77.1 grade. Vikings haven't needed that interior offensive line. Robert Hunt would fit that need instantly. But another offensive guard that the Vikings could bring in would be Kevin Dotson from the Los Angeles Rams. He was traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers early on this season, and he ended up playing great with the Los Angeles Rams. The reason I like this so much, because obviously we know Kevin O'Connell coming from that Sean McVay tree, very, very similar offenses, for this unit, or for Kevin Dotson, and kind of become, accustomed to. And again, he was unreal last year, man. I mean, in 881 snaps, he graded out at an 85.2 overall, and then also only allowing 4 sacks. That's pretty good, considering he's going up against guys like Leonard Williams, the 49ers defensive line. Like, Dotson was sweet, and this was the first year he did play guard in the NFL, and the fact that this was the results he put up, I mean, he's a guy that would definitely intrigue me. But talking about the Vikings offensive line here, Dalton Risner is set to be a free agent. He has talked countless times that he wants to come back in Minnesota, and we could very well bring him back for a 1-year, $2 million deal. But the Vikings need to address this because, listen, guys, year after year after year, the interior of the offensive line has been an issue for Minnesota. I'm just frankly tired of it. Go sign a big-time free agent. Don't go in the draft. Don't try to get lucky with a second-round pick or a third-round pick. Go get a guy that you know is going to work out. Kevin Dotson, Robert Hunt, for sure they will be good guards for you next season. I'm sick of this being an issue, and especially if you do bring back Kirk Cousins, we know how much he struggles with interior pressure. Go get him some more stability up front. Both those guys would definitely fill a need. DJ Reader is up next, defensive tackle from the Cincinnati Bengals. If you guys have watched playoff football over the last 5 seasons, this guy has been flying over your screen. And DJ Reader, listen, he is that typical run stuffer in the middle of that defensive line, similar to the Pat Williams and Kevin Williams play style that when they played with Minnesota. But obviously the stats aren't going to blow you away. Only playing in 14 games this season, was in and out of the lineup due to injury, but he is a run stuffer. He can generate some pressure from the interior, but overall, he's just a mauler. He's a nasty dude. He loves defending the run, and he would be a great guy to pair up next to a Danielle Hunter, where you can get the opposing offense in get him in 3rd and long, where the Vikings are winning on 1st and 2nd down here. DJ Reader's a great choice, and the Vikes need to get more physical. Under Kevin O'Connell over the last couple of seasons, they have been more of a finesse football team. I'm kind of sick of it. I kind of want to be dogs in the trenches. I want to get after it. A guy like DJ Reader does that. He would add more physicality, add more swagger to that defensive line. DJ Reader, $15 million a year, sign me up. Let's kick it to edge now. If the Vikings do let go of Danielle Hunter, I expect them to be in on Josh Allen. But I also do expect the Jacksonville Jaguars to franchise tag Josh Allen. But let's just say they let him go. Let's just say they don't want to do that, or maybe he says, I'm not playing on the tag, so he wants to get out of there, and he does test free agency. Well, he's a dog. And last season, he was amazing, man. I mean, very similar to our boy Danielle here. But he had 66 tackles, 17.5 sacks, 17 TFLs. He can play the run. He can play the pass. He just gets to the quarterback. He's just a true, just great modern-day edge rusher. And I think he would be a great pickup for Minnesota if they do lose Danielle Hunter. Obviously, if they do bring Hunter back, they're going to be priced out of bringing in Josh Allen. But this could be a home run hit if Danielle decides to go to Washington or whatever team, offers him more money than Minnesota. This might be my favorite one. I kind of regret putting him at 5. I should have put him at 1. That's on me. It's Antoine Winfield Jr. I am probably the biggest Antoine Winfield fan in the entire, NFL media right now, mainly because his dad also played with Minnesota, but the dude absolutely balled out this past season. I mean, he was truly, truly special for that Buccaneers defense and went and kind of sparked their defense on that playoff run where they did win a game. But, man, he had 13 PBUs, 3 interceptions, also had a touchdown. I mean, this dude was sick. And the number one thing I do love with Winfield is his versatility. He can play safety. He can hop in the nickel. He can even play some hybrid linebacker for you. And I absolutely know with Brian Flores, what's his favorite word when talking about his defensive players? Versatility. And it also is only right that he comes home. I see it in the live chat right now. Moonk is saying, I loved watching his dad play with all that energy. He's the same way. If you guys remember, he was throwing up the deuce sign, the Tyreek Hill in the Super Bowl. It was awesome. Like, he plays with that swagger, plays with that energy, and especially with secondary players in the NFL, I love that. Like, I love having that extra gear, having that chip on your shoulder, and Winfield has that. Bring him home. Maybe he could even wear 26 just like his dad did with the Minnesota Vikings. But I have Winfield at 5. Probably should have him higher. Now, if we're trying to get sticky in the trenches again, this is an interesting name. Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams was with the New York Giants early on the season, but then obviously was traded to Seattle for a second-round pick. Actually, fun fact here, if you guys see the top of your screen right now, the dude played in 18 games this season in the NFL. No other player did that. Obviously, he didn't have a bye week since he was traded. Thought that was pretty funny that, he played 18 games in an NFL year, but he was a dog this past season, 16 quarterback hits, 62 tackles, and he's just been consistent throughout his NFL career. He is great in the run game, but he also offers some pressure from the interior of the defensive line. So Leonard Williams would be an easy fix to this D-line group, but I do expect Seattle to, bring him back considering they gave up a second-round pick. Number 3 for me. I'm going to call it right now the most underrated defender in NFL history, and that is Chris Jones. Chris Jones has been truly generational with what he's done with the Kansas City Chiefs over the past couple of seasons. I think we too much just give, all the credit to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, because rightfully so. They are absolutely awesome. But if you're talking about what has really been another foundational piece to that defense and just the whole team, it's been Chris Jones holding down that interior. Obviously, I do expect the Chiefs to pay him whatever he wants, but maybe the Vikings, maybe they say, we're going to make one big free agency move this year, and it's going to be giving Chris Jones $25 million a year. I'd be in. He is getting up there in age, but he's just one of those guys that is just, they always make the right play at the right time, and, I'd be all in on Chris Jones. We got 2 more names coming up after this, but I do want to tell you guys about the sweet deal we have going on right now. If you guys head to chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie, they have all types of hoodies on sale right now. With the weather getting better, the prices are dropping on these hoodies. If you guys want to kind of, get the best bang for your buck right here, head to chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. I mean, all of these are absolutely sweet. Get hooked up today. I'll put this link for you guys in the comments and description of today's show. These are awesome. Get hooked up today. Prices are dropping over there, so make sure you guys use that link and get yourself a sweet deal on a new Vikings hoodie. Number 2, Christian Wilkins, one of my favorite non-Vikings in the NFL. If you guys have ever watched him on these mic'd up moments, when he's like during the game, he talks smack probably more than any player I have ever seen. And he kind of talks that like, funny talk or smack talk a little bit too, where he's like laughing with the other opponents and everything. He's just fun to watch, but he is an absolute player, man. And he had 9 sacks this past season from the interior of that defensive line. If you guys have kind of noticed a theme here, I did have a lot of these defensive linemen who offer both, where it's like they can't stop the run, but they can also get to the quarterback. And Christian Wilkins does that probably better than everybody except for one guy in the National Football League, and that is Justin Madubuike from the Baltimore Ravens. This dude was a game wrecker last season for Baltimore. I mean, the fact that he was a defensive lineman, able to generate 13 sacks from the interior, that's nasty work out of him. Listen, he was that kind of foundational piece for the Ravens defense, who was number 1 in everything this past season. He was playing actually next to former Vikings legend, Michael Pierce. But this would be a big-time name. He's going to be obviously very, very expensive. He is on the younger side. So, if the Vikings somehow swoon him for a 4-year, $100 million deal, sign me up. He would definitely add some more physicality to this football team, which is definitely needed. But who do you want the Vikings to sign in NFL free agency? If I had to pick one, Antoine Winfield Jr. That is my guy that I want the Vikings to sign. He can play all over the football field, and it just makes sense for him to return on home. But let me know who you want the Vikes to sign. And as always, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Vikings sign any 10 of those guys. We'll be going live here on the channel. So hit that sub button, lock us in. See See y'all next time. Let's go Vikes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for staying with us this whole live show. Again, want to give you guys one more chance to follow me on Twitter. More NFL Combine content will be over there. Link for that in the live chat. Follow me on Twitter for NFL Combine content. Would really, really appreciate it. Also, we are going to have this mailbag coming up here in just a second. If you guys could use hashtag Vikings to get in on the show, or you guys could super chat. And we actually did have a super chat coming in from Davey during our break, which actually probably start off the mailbag with this. Appreciate it, Davey. But he said, Verse is the pick at 11. He'll compliment Hunter. If he's re-signed, give us a killer 1-2 punch at the edge. And if Hunter walks, we'll have his replacement, then trade back into the first for Cooper DeJean. I like your thought process, Davey. So Davey's going, let's just load up on defense route, which, I like. Davey, I'll dive into this in a little more detail on our mailbag, but I appreciate it. Davey, your name's also going on here, and we are going to get you a ticket entry into our raffle. So really do appreciate that. Is DOD saying Skull Vikings in the chat? What up, what up, what up? But make sure you guys do get those questions in there. We're going to do the raffle entry at the end of today's show. So make sure you guys do get hooked up today. Yeah, use hashtag Vikings. Get a question in there. Whatever it may be, let me know. Ask those questions, hashtag Vikings. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we'll break it down here on our live show. Or you guys could super chat. Skip the line, and we'll start off with your question. But, Davey, your name's going on here, and you're getting a ticket entry for the raffle. So we really appreciate it. Is Lazar saying, would you rather, or would you pick Kirk, either Kirk or if they pick A what, Laser? As long as my boss doesn't show up, I will be here. Hey, Moonkiss, I don't want to get you in trouble, man. I don't want to get you in trouble. Laser, we appreciate it. Viking, pick a QB. I got you, Laser. I got you. I remember that. How we looking on questions? Solid? Sweet. Yeah. Rocky, that's a good question about Harrison Smith. Definitely include that. And Bulls Nation. I appreciate you guys. All right, well, if Texas is ready and you guys are ready, we're going to dive into the mailbag. Appreciate all you guys tuning in on today's show. We'll be doing the raffle right after this. So make sure you guys do stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. As Roger Bong. Oh, I love it. Roger. He's saying a $10 super chat saying, who wants to go on the board? First person to say Skull gets on, and Moonkus takes advantage. So, Moonkus, you'll be going on the board. I'll put it on there once we hop out of the studio. Moonkus, ready to rock. Let's go. Shout out to Roger Bong. Roger. Oh, and you put the profile picture as the ball, and you don't even have it yet. Roger, give me some, dog. Let's go. That's my man, Roger. Everybody show Roger some love down in the chat, man. Appreciate him. He's been super patient because I have been a big dummy in shipping out the Neil Hunter jersey for him. I put the wrong address, and it was a big dummy move by me. But, Roger, you got that ball as your profile pick and that jersey coming your way. As always, man, really appreciate it, you hanging out with us. Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, thank you so much, Roger. Moonkus, you're going to get a raffle ticket as well, and your name's going to go on this fan cave. Let's go. Yeah, Roger, Roger, you wait, bro. You wait. Appreciate you, though. Thank you so much for contributing to the show. But, Tex, if you're ready, I'm ready to rock. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. It is mailbag time here on the channel where we answer questions from our subscribers during our weekly live show. It is one of the most fun things we do here at Chat Sports because I get to interact with you guys. So make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button and join our weekly live shows every single Wednesday if you want to get involved. But this first one coming in was from Davey. Davey Chains, a legend here on the channel. He says this about the NFL draft. He thinks Verse is the pick at 11. He'll compliment Hunter. if he's re-signed and give us a killer 1-2 punch at the edge position. And if Hunter walks, we'll have his replacement. And then he wants the Vikings to trade back into the first for Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. Now, this is very interesting. So, Davey, and this actually gets me to a take I wanted to get out here. Vikings are in position in this year's draft to kind of go all in on either side of the football. And in Davey's kind of situation here, he's saying verse at 11, get you an edge, trade back into the first round, get you a cornerback. I'd be all in on that. Like, frankly, if the Vikings left draft night and I'm walking out of the office and I'm saying Jared Verse is a Viking, Cooper DeJean's a Viking, you got an edge, you got a corner, the defense is ramping up, I would absolutely love that. No, definitely really agree with that. So I think that's a great point, Davey. Jared Verse, though, if the Vikings don't draft a quarterback, that will most likely be the pick. Rocky's saying, will Harrison Smith be back? I do not want to answer this, but most likely not. He is a cap casualty for Minnesota, and the Vikings can save about $11.5 million if they do cut Harrison Smith. So I do think Harry, unless he goes completely restructures and takes a pay cut for the team, I fully expect Harry to be gone. But also, I wouldn't be shocked at all if if Harrison Smith took a team-friendly deal to stay in Minnesota and restructured his contract. But as it stands right now, probably not. Harry will most likely be being cut from this team. Vikes fan for life. Good question. He said, did you see Josh McCown coach Drake Maye in high school? Yeah, I did. So if you guys didn't know, Josh McCown was just hired as the Vikes QB coach. And back in 2019, when he was a head high school coach in the state of North Carolina, his quarterback was Drake Maye. And if you guys don't know, man, Drake Maye, this dude's a hooper. And I think he is a generational talent. We've heard the comparisons to a guy like Justin Herbert. And I would do anything for the Vikings to get him, frankly. I would give up 3 first-round picks. I'd maybe even give up 4 first-round picks, because if you could somehow pair him up with Jefferson and Addison over the next 10 seasons and then figure out the rest of the roster, like truly could be generational. And I think the Vikings could be competing for Super Bowls with this guy under center. Obviously, you have to wait and see how he plays in the NFL, but I'd be willing to bet a lot of my future draft capital on this guy right here. Yeah, I'd be all in on Drake Maye. Hopefully there's some truth to that rumor that Vikings could be trading up after hiring Josh McCown. But let's say you're Kwesi. Will the Vikings draft a quarterback in round 1? Give me a Y for yes, or give me an N for no down in the comment section. I'm honestly leaning yes. I think Minnesota will be selecting a quarterback, whether it's trading back up into the first, drafting one at 11, or even maybe trading up in the draft. And it kicks me the Munkus here, saying, would you be willing to trade JJ to the Patriots? And what would you respect in return for him? Munkus, I don't like you for asking this question. This is a hard-hitting one, man, but I appreciate it. Would you be willing to trade JJ to the Patriots? So I'm assuming you're talking about that 3rd overall pick. You're making me choose. Like, okay, let's just say Jayden Daniels goes number 2 to the Commanders, and Drake Maye sitting there on draft night at number 3, and the Patriots call you, and they say Justin Jefferson for the 3rd overall pick. I think I'm saying yes. And a little bit of me just broke right there, but I think I would. I really would. And honestly, that's all I would expect in return. Maybe you get a future second as well, but you also got to think with these teams that want to trade for Jefferson, you're going to have to pay him a massive contract. And listen, the Vikings, if they could somehow and then keep their pick at 11, like you go trade Jefferson for 3, draft Drake Maye at 11, and then you could be sitting there, or draft Drake Maye at 3, you could be sitting there at 11, and maybe Roma Dunze fall, or maybe Malik Neighbors fell, and then you can go get another quarterback. I don't know. You guys actually let me know. Would you trade Justin Jefferson for Drake Maye? Let me know down in the chat. But also, guys, we'll get to more questions here in a second, but I got to tell you about this sweet deal we got going on at chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. All these hoodies are on sale right now, so make sure you guys take advantage. Click the link in the comment section and the description of today's show. Take advantage. This doesn't happen very often. Fanatics is cutting the prices on their hoodies, so head to chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie and get hooked up today. Link is in the comments and description of today's show. But Bulls Nation coming in here saying Vikings should go after Jonnu Smith after he just got released by Atlanta. That's a great point. Yeah, so Jonnu Smith was just released by the Falcons. And obviously with TJ Hockenson having the season-ending knee surgery, probably won't be back till November. I think a guy like Smith would make a lot of sense. You know, we still have Josh Oliver. I still really believe he's the best blocking tight end in the NFL. But, yeah, I would probably sign him. Obviously, it comes down to money because once Hockenson comes back, I don't expect him to play too much. But, hey, Kevin O'Connell loves two tight end sets. So he's going to want to be running two tight ends, you know, with Oliver and somebody else at the beginning of the season. But I think he would probably rather go Johnny Munt or a Nick Muse route rather than sign or giving more money to a guy like Jonnu Smith. But definitely a good name to keep your eyes out on. This could be a underrated, like, oh, wow, I didn't expect the Vikings to sign Jonnu Smith type of signing. So good point right there from Bulls Nation. But looks like we got the Vikings GM, Kwesi, in the chat. It's Kwesi's burner. So did you see Adrian Peterson's open to a return to the NFL? Yes, I did. So if you guys heard the reports coming out, apparently AP was selling a bunch of his former like Heisman Trophy or his Heisman Trophy, like his trophy, and then also he was selling his Rookie of the Year trophy as well in the NFL. And then he came out and said all that's a lie. And then he also came back and said that he wants to return to the NFL. And the man's 38. The man's LeBron James' age, and we know running backs hit a wall at 30. Well, he's 38. I'm out on Adrian Peterson. It would be cool. It would be sweet to see the 28 in the Vikings uniform again. But, you know, interesting point right there. But I am probably out on Adrian Peterson coming back. But, hey, no doubt, he was one of the best players in Minnesota Vikings history. I don't want to just, you know, kind of, you know, dunk on him a little bit and then say I don't want to sign him without showing him some love. So let's get his jersey number down in the chat. Type those 28s. All I hear when I think of Adrian Peterson, I just hear Paul Allen screaming, and he's loose. And he breaks down the sideline. And so type those 28. Show Adrian Peterson some love because he was really one of those players that made me fell in love with watching the Minnesota Vikings. And, you know, I always hope the best for him. But coming back to Minnesota, probably not. Bulls Nation saying trade Booth to Carolina for a future third-round pick and Miles Sanders so Minnesota can sign Levi Wallace. Bulls Nation, I love the thought, man. I love you getting sticky right there, but I will say Carolina's not accepting that. I don't know if they would give Andrew Booth up for a fifth-round pick, frankly, just because maybe we haven't really seen Booth play too much in the NFL. And it's also I'm here at the point with Booth where it's like I don't want to give him up because he's still kind of an unknown, and if you want to just be, you know, very optimistic about him, like, you could say, like, you know, he could still develop. He was a second-round pick and all that. And I'd roll my chances on him developing rather than just giving him up for a fifth-round pick or whatever. But, Bulls Nation, if you were the GM and you could pull that trade off, again, sign me up for that, man. And then Laser saying, if you had the choice, would you take Cousins or Drake Maye? Drake Maye. Drake Maye. I would take Drake Maye. If I had to choose one, you know, QB1 next season, I think it would be Drake Maye. I love what Cousins has done. We saw the picture with him getting the grills and everything. It seems like he wants to be back in Minnesota. But if I had to pick between one of these guys, I'm obviously going to roll with a Drake Maye on that one. Last question coming up here. So, Bulls Nation, follow up on the Adrian Peterson stuff. Maybe hire AP as a running back coach, not a player. Hey, I like that thought. Or maybe, what about this, Bulls Nation? Let me throw it back to you. What if they sign Adrian Peterson for a 10-day contract, and then he retires with the Minnesota Vikings? We can retire at the 28, and then he becomes the running back coach. I think that would be, I think that's what I would do. But, yeah, really appreciate you guys tuning in to today's mailbag here on the channel, breaking down the latest rumors from you guys, and just really, really appreciate it. If you guys made it all the way to the end of today's show, just give me a real one down below. Because if you watch this whole thing, you watch me answer every single one of these questions, you are a real one. So type real one down below in the comments section. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Vikes. All righty, real ones in the chat. Munkus, Lazar, and Roger Bong. Daniel saying Adrian Fumbleitis Peterson. Yeah, he had a problem with fumbling back in his day. Yeah, still one of the best running backs of all time. Um, yeah, he was supposed to go to Texas, but it's because wasn't his and yes, and I heard his dad was in jail at the time, and his dad could watch his games if he played at Oklahoma, not at Texas. So that was a big part of it. Yep. Roger saying, is Rocky on the board? Rocky is on the board. And yeah, so we're going to do last call right here. Last call, if you guys want to get one more ticket entry into here, I would really appreciate it. One more ticket entry. Rocky actually said he doesn't want his name get an entry. He just wants his name on the board. But this is what it's looking like right now. Our wheel here. We got all the names. Did you add yeah, then you add Munkus too? Yeah, add Munkus to it. We'll get his name in there. Tyman, you actually just want to put, actually, no, we'll keep Tyman in there. Just put Munkus in there as well. But last call here, $10 super chat. Yeah, $10 super chat. You get your name on here, and then we'll also spin this wheel, and we'll see who it goes to. I do have to be able to get in contact with you guys, so I already got Roger. I got Adam, Summer, Tyman. I'm going to need to get in contact with you guys. Oh, and add Lazar. Lazar to the list. Rocky did send in a $10 super chat. Yeah. Lazar. And then Daniel. Or Lazar's saying not him. Lazar, we'll put you on here. He already says he's got one of these. We'll put you on here. But put Dan on there, though. Yeah, put Dan on there. Because Roger just sent in another 10. We appreciate it. Dan, you're going on there, baby. You are going on there. Roger, I appreciate it, man. You said what? Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll spin this wheel, and then we'll sign on or sign off here on the channel. What's on board meaning? So we're going to sign your name on this board, and then we're going to put your name, Daniel, on this wheel. And if it lands on your name, we are going to send this your way. But Roger did come in with the 10, saying put Dan on too. So Roger, if you guys see that football he has, that's one he won, or not one. It was one nobody claimed it from the season. I said, you know, what better person to give it to other than Roger Bong? So really appreciate you, Roger, as always, you know, carrying the show during these weekly live shows. We will not forget it. And Roger, I'm going to do next season when we're back better than ever. I'm doing something big for you week one. We're doing something big for you week one. I got to think of it, though. But I already got a couple ideas churning in my head. But, Tex, I think it's time. We'll do final 10-second countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's spin that freaking wheel, Texie. Here we go. Who's going to get it? Oh, it's Dan. All righty. So, Dan, since you just got put on this, Dan, do you have a Twitter? Or do you have a way that I could get in contact with you for I can send this to you? Skull Dan. Everybody's showing Dan some love. Daniel in the chat. If you want this, if you could say, and if you don't want it, we can respin it. But this is yours if you want it. This is yours if you want it. Dan, you just gotta let me know if you're on Twitter or if I can email you so I can send this out your way. Skull text, baby. Skull Dan. Let's go, Dan, winning our Hall of Fame board for the month of February. Hopefully Dan is still in the building. We'll give him about 30 seconds here. If not, yeah, we'll just respin it. Just remove his name from it. You see how it says remove right there? Yeah. We'll give Dan about 20 more seconds here. Also, we're going to have to respin this. Dan the man. If not, put into next week. We'll do, Raj. All right, Texas, say we take them out and we spin this sucker again. Let's do it. Let it fly. Here we go. Who is going to come down with it? It's Ty Man the Buckeye. All right, Ty Man the Buckeye is the winner. So, Roger, Ty Man's not in the chat today, but I see him everywhere. I will make sure Ty Man knows. I do have a way to get in contact with him, so that's all good there. But, Ty Man, congrats. You're not in here. Oh, Ty Man. That is incredible timing. Yo, Ty Man, I'm assuming, does Petey have a way to contact you, Ty Man? Yeah, I'm assuming Petey has a way to contact you. So, Ty Man. Yeah, he does. All right, Ty Man, I'll be sending this to you. Everybody also show love to Roger as well. He was the one that's been carrying these. So, let's go. Ty Man, that was awesome, dude. He popped up out of nowhere as he won it. So that's going to be sent to Ty Man the Buckeye. We're going to slowly convert Ty Man into a Vikings fan over the year. Just don't tell Petey. Don't tell Petey. Shout out to Daniel, Skull Brothers. All right. Well, Ty Man, congrats to you. Yeah, we really appreciate it. And Roger, as always, thank you so much. Everybody show Roger some love. He is the reason Ty Man actually won this. So that's pretty freaking cool if you ask me. Roger, keep your eyes out. Keep checking on your mail. That's all I'm going to say. But we appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. My man Tex and I are going to sign off here. Great stuff from Tex producing this show. You guys can also say Skull Tex down below. Show him some love as well. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. See y'all next time. Shout out Roger and Skull Vikes.